Now to the latest trend that's sweeping the internet.
So-called NFT.
They're now selling for huge bucks.
$69 million.
Oh my God. So what's behind this latest craze?
That is the question to ask.
So some crazy stuff is going down on the internet, and I'm here to tell you about it. For those who don't know me, my name is Desena Harper. I make videos here on YouTube, basically self-care, finance, photography. Great, fine. On to the video. We're going to talk about NFTs. What are they? How do you get them? Why are they so popular, right? First off, what the hell is an NFT? Let me tell you. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and specifically we're going to focus on that word, fungible. Okay. Fungible it basically means it's a non-replaceable item.
Fungible or non-fungible? A sack of rice is fungible. You just want a sack of rice. You don't care which one it is. The Mona Lisa, non-fungible. There's only one.
NFTs are really popular because you're basically getting that original item. There's like maybe one of one copy or one of 200, so it's like a very limited amount of items, and that is the purpose of NFT. And a good example of this would be, well, we'll give you a real life example first. A good example would be the Mona Lisa, right? There's only one Mona Lisa. There might be people who try to make counterfeits and steal it, but there's only one. Now, the original Mona Lisa has value, okay? A counterfeit does not. So if we talk about the popularity of those two items, you would rather pay for the original versus the counterfeit. In this sense, the NFT, right, there was a Malaysian man, an anonymous Malaysian man, who had bought the first tweet ever, which was by Jack Dorsey, which is the CEO of Twitter. And if I'm correct, he paid about what, 2,000? How much did he pay for it?
Ever tweeted in the history of Twitter. The tweet was by Jack Dorsey.
I'm one of the co-founders of Twitter.
And this tweet was somehow just purchased for $2,915,835.47.
So the tweet by Jack Dorsey, you know, the founder of Twitter, that was purchased by the anonymous Malaysian man for $2 million, mind you, $2 million, right? $915. First of all, well, it was purchased for $2 billion, right, with a B, $2 billion, $915 million, right, $835,000.47. Something that is not a tangible item, a non-tangible item. I cannot hold this tweet in my hand. I can't do it. I can't hold it in my hand. Was purchased for $2,915,835.47. Make it make sense. So there's a hype around these NFTs where you can basically purchase non-tangible items, at least from my understanding. It's a non-tangible item that you spend money for in hopes to gain a profit, and some hold value and some don't. Take for example the singer Nas. He decided to make 2 of his songs into NFTs so that the public can own it. When have you ever heard of an artist giving up their rights to a song? That's not owned by a label. So that gives you a general idea of the popularity of NFTs. But the reason why this is so important is because of the way that the internet is headed and how you can make a profit through the internet, basically, with these items. So now that you guys have an idea, of what the word fungible is, we're just going to break down token really quickly so that you can understand the whole point of NFT, because you know the N and you know the F. Now we're going to get to the T. Token. It's a fairly universal term in terms of the internet, but we're going to break it down for you in a way that you can understand. Well, I'm going to break it down for you in a way that you can understand. And one way that I can do that is by explaining the blockchain. If you follow cryptocurrency, then you know that tokens and blockchains kind of go hand in hand. So, a good way that I can basically tell you is, let's say I want some donuts, right? And my friend Danny is selling donuts, okay? And for reference, we're using card, we're not using cash. So I take my card, I'm like, hey, I want like 10 bucks of donuts. I want a little 10 bucks of donuts. She's like, okay. I swipe my card on Danny's terminal and it sends a message to my bank. So in this case, my bank is acting as a middleman. Mind you, what banks do all day is keep a record of all transactions purchased or all transactions that may have left their institution. Literally, banks like keep a record of what is going and what is coming. That is the purpose of a bank, just so you know. So I swipe my card, right, to get these donuts. So my bank gets a notification that I want to buy $10 worth of donuts, and that transaction of $10 has to go to Anna's bank, right? Because it's an exchange, okay? So keep in mind, what a bank does all day is they document transactions. They document transactions going in and out, and then they have a record of that, okay? Keep that in mind. So because a bank keeps a record of all the transactions going in and out of your account, it leaves you with a balance, right? So let's say, for example, I have a balance of like 80 bucks left after all my transactions come in and out of my account, right? So my direct deposit hits, boom, great. And then I pay whatever bills I have to pay, that gets deducted, right? That leaves me with a balance of $80. Okay, so the bank is like, oh, you have $80 left? Okay, you can afford to spend $10 on donuts. And they approve it, okay? Great. I have my box of donuts. This is where it gets very interesting. So stay with me. Now, my bank, right, is going to send those $10 to Danny's bank, okay? So let's say Danny had a balance of $200 that she's made so far. Now, when she receives my purchase of $10, she now has $210 that she's gotten for the day, okay? It's just money. Money's just a number. Keep that in mind. It's just a number that you view on a screen every day, and it drives us. Something that comes from a tree that you work very, very hard for, that can, yes, get you things and finer way of life, you view on a screen. Keep that in mind, okay? Stay with me. So remember how I said money is just on a screen? We don't barter anymore. Like as an economy, as public, as a unit, we don't barter for things. I can't say I will trade you this camera for that laptop. I can't say that, right? Because that's not how goods are used anymore. That's not how goods are valued anymore. Everything is valued through money, the money that comes from a tree, okay? Just keep that in mind. So when you look at that and you keep in mind, right, the money that you get is sent to the bank. The purpose of a bank is to keep a very meticulous record of what happens with every single person who has an account with that bank. Banks are middlemen, okay? Banks are middlemen. You have yourself, you have the bank, you have whatever the hell it is that you want to get, okay? Banks are middlemen. So great, it's great, okay? It's great because banks have helped the economy, have helped the world run, you know, pretty smooth for a while. People for the most part put their trust in banks to keep track of the money that goes in and out of, you know, said bank. They trust banks to you know, make sure they have their money, make sure they get their money, make sure that if in the event that they lose their money, they can get that back. Okay, that's why you have FDIC. So just keep in mind, with the rise of the internet, right, with NFTs, which is solely on the internet, right? NFTs are not a physical item. Remember I said earlier, they are non-tangible. I cannot hold an NFT in my hand like how I can hold that camera in my hand, okay? Just keep that in mind. What if there was a way where with the internet, you can get rid of middlemen? You can get rid of the bank. That's where blockchain comes in. Blockchain takes away the middlemen, okay? It's basically like how in business, there's a term called business to business. There is no middleman, there is no manufacturer. It's basically the same thing with blockchain, except in a cryptocurrency way. The whole point of blockchain is to take away that middleman. I can send Joe money, and there is a very, you know, there's a meticulous record that a group of people have to approve in order for me to say, hey, Joe, I want to send you this money. You have a group of people. Well, you know what? I'll explain it better in a second. So, with the rise of the internet and with the way NFTs work, you have the blockchain. So if banks are middlemen, the blockchain completely eradicates that. Instead of having my bank talk to another bank, the whole point of blockchain is to have a public record of all transactions. Public record on the internet of all transactions, and that can determine whether something gets approved or denied. Okay? We're gonna revisit our example of donuts, and we're gonna apply it in a crypto setting so you can understand, right? So let's say I want donuts, but instead of paying with card this time, I'm paying with coins. So let's say it's like, we'll just use crypto coin and make it easier on everyone. Okay, because if I say Bitcoin, I might get copyrighted. I don't want that. Okay, I'm here. I want donuts. The donuts cost me 10 crypto coins. Okay. When I swipe my card, right, to get said donuts, now it's being tracked in a public ledger, right? So imagine you have a little community of computers talking back and forth to each other, and they're saying, hey, this person wants 10 crypto coins worth of donuts. Do they have 10 crypto coins worth of donuts? If I don't have the 10 crypto coins in my account, then they're gonna notice that discrepancy. They're gonna be like, whoa, this is a red flag. Like, you don't have this. And they're gonna kick me out, right? Following? So what I mean by kick out is they basically will reject it. It's the same thing with banks. If you don't have it, minus if you have overdraft. If you have overdraft protection, that's different. I'm not counting that. If you, let's say you don't have overdraft protection, okay? This is the similarity here, right? If I use my 10 crypto coins to get this box of donuts and I don't have the 10 crypto coins in my account, then that ledger, that group of people that's tracking every transaction, they're going to reject it. Just like how the bank would deny it and say insufficient funds, it's the same thing with the crypto world. They would say, no, you can't get this for 10. I might want, you know, an item for 10 crypto coins, but I might only have 8. So I'm 2 crypto coins short. Get it? Okay, so if I have it, right, let's say I do have the 10 crypto coins in my account, then it's approved. Everyone tracks it. They're like, okay, this corresponds. Desena actually has 10 crypto coins in her account. We can now transfer this over to Anna, and it is now documented. That transaction, that transfer of those 10 coins from me to Joe is now in this very public record. Okay? It's all tracked. All tracked. Same thing as a bank, just kind of virtual, minus the middleman. Okay? Stay with me. Just stay with me. Just stay with me. Basically, the point of crypto is that the group of people, right? A group of people, they're basically verifying the legitimacy of a transaction. Okay? So if I have a group of 10 people and I'm in that group of 10 people and I tell person B, I'm gonna give you $10, right? And I have 8 other people in that group, that's my witnesses. Oh, I'm gonna give this person $10, right? If I pull out my wallet and I give them $10, everyone's like, cool, she gave them $10. Awesome. If I open my wallet and I see that I only have $5, they're like, oh, she's broke. She doesn't have the $10. We're gonna go. That's literally the whole point of it. And that actually ties into psychology, funny enough. So this is where blockchain gets interesting. All blockchain cares about is the legitimacy of a transaction. That's it. That's all it cares about, right? So it doesn't care about the fact that anonymous Malaysian man wants to buy like $3 billion worth of my crypto coins, or spend $3 million worth of his crypto coins rather, in order to get a non-tangible item from Jack Dorsey. No sense. But they don't care about why you're doing what you're doing. All the blockchain cares about is, does anonymous Malaysian businessman have $3 billion worth of coins? Yes, because they will track everything in that record so far. The group will verify it and they will look and see, hey, yes, you know, Malaysian businessman does have it. Then they're gonna approve it. And it's basically exchanging coins for ownership of something. That's an NFT. That's an NFT. So, yeah. Basically, all the blockchain cares about is making sure that you have set amount of money or coins, in this case really, to purchase whatever item it is that you want. And keep in mind that the record of a blockchain, you can't alter it. So once something's done, it's done. It's permanent. You can't change it, right? But the whole purpose of buying $3 billion worth of product is just to have like a digital certificate or ownership for a tweet. So you're paying money to transfer ownership of an item. If Jack Dorsey made this original tweet, the first tweet ever in 2006, he owns that tweet. He made it in 2006. But if someone else comes along and they're like, hey, I want to buy this tweet for $3 billion, Jack Dorsey doesn't own it anymore. It's an exchange of goods, a non-fungible token. Okay, that is the one and only tweet made by Jack Dorsey. Okay, that has value. It has value and it has emotional significance. It has value because it is from the platform Twitter that revolutionized the internet, and it has emotional significance because it is the owner, okay, the founder, the creator of Twitter who made it. That's it. That's the non-fungible right there. The token part is just the exchange of goods or value for that item. That's it. That's it. So, remember earlier when I said that NFTs are kind of like similar to psychology? It's because they are. It's because they are. It's because in psychology, when you have, I have hair on my lip. In psychology, when you have a group that validates something, that makes it just, right? There might be tens of thousands of NFTs. There's like many different kinds of NFTs, but just because there's tens of thousands kinds of NFTs, there's only one of that. You know, 1 out of 10,000. So it's still limited. It still has value. It still holds meaning to it. It's quite interesting. So this is the new hype around NFTs. Everything in a way is revolved around psychology, because if a group of people says it has value, then it has value. So if like 500,000 people say this movie is awesome, you should watch it, it's gonna get more hits in the box office because more people are gonna watch it. It's the group that validates the legitimacy of the item. So right now there's hype around NFTs, and it probably will change the world. It probably will change the internet. But it's crazy. It's so crazy. The dark side of NFTs. The dark side of NFTs. They're on a public ledger. They're on a public ledger that is just keeping records of everything all day, all night. All day and all night. It's not a screen that you look at. There's no nothing. It's just these little boxes of information that keeps track of thousands and thousands of transactions. And the thing about it is like most items, or NFTs I should say, really, most NFTs are on a blockchain called Ethereum, and I'm sure you've heard of it. It's extremely popular. So for those who don't know, like I said, you may not be an environmentalist. Generating electricity is made in a power plant, right? In that power plant, they use fossil fuels, okay? The emissions, right, that come out of that power plant, that's carbon. That's carbon that's going into the atmosphere, that's going into the ozone, that is destroying our earth, okay? That is polluting everything you know and love. You know, It's all fun and good. You want to trade these things, that's great, but like there is an impact to it. A very real, environmentally dangerous impact that can power a country at the time, because now we're in a whole new year, so it's probably a little bit bigger than that now. But you have fun though. So I just want to conclude this video by saying, now you know what an NFT is and what the hype is around it. Just remember, this non-tangible item has very real world consequences. And you know, just like when the internet came out, there was all this hype, and yes, the internet did change the world. There's all this hype around NFTs right now, and you know, it most definitely will change the world. I'm not saying that it won't, just because of the mere fact that the whole point of it is keeping a ledger, you know, a ledger that takes away the middleman, but it's still authentic and it's still verifiable. So it creates a smoother process, a smoother transaction process, really. That's what's gonna change the world. Still sucks what it's doing though, because you know, this is our only home, but it is changing the world. So if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I will have links in the description bar below so that you can follow me on my social medias, and just make sure that you hit the notification bell so you know the next time that I upload a video.